In this lesson, we're going to learn how to graph on the XY coordinate plane and also to find the slope of a line. Casey, you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Or you got my back?
I got your back.
Okay, thanks, man. So here in math, right, we want to find different points, right? We use the XY coordinate plane to plot points, all right?
All right.
So, for example, I've said, let's go to a party this weekend. Would you know how to get there?
No.
Exactly. I'd have to give you directions, right?
Right.
So the XY coordinate gives us directions for plotting points, right? So I'm going to show you how to get there. First of all, we have the x-axis that goes from east to west, right? Left to right. Then we have the y-axis that goes from north to south, up and down, okay?
All right.
Now, in order to break this thing up into 4 parts, they call them quadrants, right? So if you go to the right and up over here, like into the northeast, this would be called quadrant number 1, right? Everything happening in the upper right-hand corner. Then if we were to go left and up, right, sort of like the northwest, then that would be quadrant 2, okay? And then if we go left and down, we get quadrant 3. And then if we go right and down, we get quadrant 4, okay? Now, in terms of plotting these points and moving around on this map, first we started the home base, which is right in the center, 0, 0, okay? That's where we always want to start, from the center, all right? And then we're going to move in 2 directions. First, we're going to move in the x direction. Then we're going to turn our turn signal on. And then we're going to move up and down in the y direction, all right?
All right.
So let's go ahead and plot some points. Let's plot this first point here, 2, 3. So first, where do we start?
We started home base.
Home base at 0, 0. So we move 2 units in the x direction. Then we do what?
Put our turn signal on.
Turn signal on, and we're going to go positive 3 units in the y direction. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da. Bam. There we are. So we've plotted the point 2, 3. All right? And what quadrant is 2, 3 in?
The first.
The first quadrant. Very good. So let's plot the second point here, which is negative 3, 4. So where do we start again?
Home base.
At home base. And we move negative 3 units to the left, right? 1, 2, 3. Then do what?
Put on our turn signal.
Turn signal, then do what?
And go up 4 points.
4 points. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bingo. And that put us in what quadrant?
2.
The second quadrant. Very good. Let's go on to the next one. Go ahead and help me out on this one. What do we do first?
We started home base.
Home base, which is 0, 0.
Go 6 points to the left.
There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Put our turn signal on.
There you go. Safety first.
And go negative 2 points down.
There you go. Very good. 1, 2. Very good. And what quadrant is this point in?
The third.
The third quadrant. All right. Now bring us home with the point here, 4, negative 5.
You started home base.
Home base. Okay.
You go 4 points to the right.
There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Put your turn signal on.
Got it?
Go down negative 5.
There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bingo. And we're in the fourth quadrant, right? So very good. So now we know how to plot points, and we know how to identify which quadrant they're in, right? Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to graph a line, okay?
All right.
Okay. How many ears do you have?
2.
How many eyes do you have?
2.
How many points do we need to determine a line?
2.
Very good. So let's plot these 2 points here. First, we'll plot the point 2, 1, all right? Starting from home base, we go over 2, turn signal, up 1. There's our first point. Now tell me where we're going to put the second point.
We're going to start at home base.
Okay?
Go 4 points to the right.
4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Put our turn signal on.
Turn signal, okay?
And go 4 up.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 2 points, right? It only takes 2 points to determine a line. So now we pull out our handy-dandy ruler, and we connect these points, line them up, and we draw a straight line all the way through, okay? So now these 2 points are now on this line, okay? And now we'll name this line. We'll call this the party line, okay?
All right.
So all the parties are happening on this line, okay? So if you're not on this line, you're not at the party, okay? And we want to go to the party, right?
Right.
So we have to figure out if we're at one point on the party line, how do we get to the next point on the party line, right? I'm glad you asked. To do that, we have to find the slope. The slope of the line shows us how to move from one point on the party line to the next point on the party line, okay?
All right.
So let's define the slope. The slope is the rise over the run, okay? That's 2 directions on the graph, all right?
All right.
Now, rise over run should be natural for you, right? Because when you wake up in the morning, you rise, right? And if you're going late to school, you run to school, right? So you rise and then you run, okay? Now, hopefully you're not trying to run before you rise, okay? We might have to send you to the doctor for that one, all right? So we rise first and then we run, okay? And that's just the change in y in the y direction, which is up and down, how that changes over the change in x, which is right and left, okay? So let's take a look at the slope thing and see what happens here. So we need 2 points to determine the line, right? The first point is x1, y1, so that's the first point. And the second point is x2, y2. And according to the formula here, to find the slope, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, all right? So let's go ahead and use these 2 points and find the slope. Okay, so 4 minus 1, that's the y2 minus y1. And what's the x2 minus x1?
4 minus 2.
Very good. 4 minus 2. And 4 minus 1 is?
3.
3, okay. And 4 minus 2?
2.
2. Now we have the slope of the line, all right? And what the slope allows us to do, it allows us to go from one party to the next, right? So we already have our party line, right? So if you're this party right here, right, you're getting your groove on, right? And they run out of chips, you want to go to the next party, right? So what we have to do is the slope, which is 3 over 2, right? And we rise over run. So first we'll rise from this party, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll run to the next party, right? 2. Bam, we're right back at the next party, right? Still on the party line, okay? So you eat up all the chips there, now you're thirsty again, right? Let's move on to the next party. So we get in the car, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and then what?
Run 2.
Run to the next party, right? Okay. There we go. We're right back on the party line, okay? So that's what's important about the slope. It takes you from one party to the next party on the party line. You with that? Cool. Now let's talk about the 2 different types of slopes there are. There's a positive slope and there's a negative slope, okay? So let's take a look at these. The first one here. I can ask you a personal question? Casey, do you know how to read?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So when you're reading, what direction do you read?
Left to right.
Exactly. Well, in math, we read the same way, from left to right. So if we look at this line from left to right, it is rising to the right, okay? It's increasing. So that would be called a positive sloped line, all right? This line has a positive slope. If we look at a line that goes this way, reading from left to right, it's going down or it's falling from left to right, okay? This means that this slope would be negative, okay? If you ever get confused whether or not a line has a positive slope or negative slope, just think about your bank account, okay? If your bank account is rising, that would be positive, okay? You're making the money. However, if you look and your bank account is falling or decreasing, that would be negative, okay? All right, Casey, now you're an expert, man. You know how to graph on the coordinate plane. You know how to find the slope. You know whether or not the slope is positive or negative. Any other questions?
No.
You're a genius, man. Good job. Now get ahead in math.